Hello everyone, welcome. This is WTL, the Grand Finals, and I guess they're introducing our players right now. This is of course off the clean feed, but this is the Grand Finals. Team NV has 2 lives remaining. Dragon Phoenix gaining, they have the whole complement. And with 2 lives remaining, you send out your best player because you know you're going to be able to use him twice. But of course, folks, before we get into that, of course, I'd like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, do all those good things. It does help the algorithm. Just help us out with that. And of course, check out our Patreon if you want. But the game's here now. The games are ready. And, remember, this is all kill. So, yes, Team NV has 2 lives remaining. I cannot imagine that they're going to go and use anyone other than Maru from here on out. Because, I mean, Maru, he can die twice. Or you only have 2 lives to give. Maru dies, say, here or in the next series, or however many series he takes. Who are you going to bring back? You're going to bring back, shoot. Who else is on NV? I was going to say Percival, but he's gone. You going to bring back Creator? I don't think so. So really, the entire weight of things weighs on Maru's shoulders. He has to kill 4 players in a row from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. The likes of Zest and Rogue and Dark. And yeah, I've been talking to people, and there's this whole argument that one good player in a all-kill format kind of invalidates this idea of a team league. I don't know. I don't think so. Not when we look at it like this. I mean, Maru, he has a devastatingly difficult road ahead of him. He's going to try to make something happen here. But for the moment, this is Glittering Ashes. This is a map where he is pretty heavily not favored on. You talk to any pro right now and you say, well, Glittering Ashes, how do you feel about it in TVZ? And, they're going to stop short of saying, oh, hey, it's impossible. I cannot beat a Zerg there. But they're going to say, it is probably the worst map to play against Zerg. Just because it's so big. It's so hard to shut down Zerg mining. I mean, you push up left and you kill a base there, and the Zerg has 3 expansions on the right, or vice versa. So these games really do have to take 15, 16 minutes where the Terran gets up to 5 or 6 bases. If you're Maru mass ghost count, actually most Terrans are going with mass ghost at this point, but you just get to the heavy ghost style, you trade efficiently, and in a 30-minute game, you eventually, force the Zerg to mine out most every base on the map. And well, with this being Glittering Ashes, good luck mining out every base. So, of course, there are a couple different ways that Maru has been approaching this matchup in particular. We talk about TVZ over the last bit of time, pretty much since summer. First and foremost, we got to talk about the fact that, well, Hellion Banshee 3CC play is really, really the gold standard for TVZ play at this point. But Maru, he has started to show some 2-racks play. He has started to show really some interesting mech play, battlecruiser play, things like that. We don't have that on the way just now. Of course, it is Cloak. We do not have double gas on the natural. So realistically, this is most likely going to be bio, and mech on Glittering Ashes is just not good. It's too hard to keep the Zerg down, as the Hellions are going to dive their way on into the natural here. A couple workers will go down. It's going to be 3, and the cost of 4 Hellions it's not quite breaking. Well, actually 4 is not quite breaking even, but it's good tempo moves here for Maru, especially as I believe he did build a couple more Hellions to give him that map control. But it does mean that he's not going to be able to distract Rogue as well as he might otherwise look to do so, because, well, the Hellions won't be there. But, I mean, realistically, with a Banshee, you're going to not get anything done with this first one. Not really. And then you're going to send the second one across the map when Cloak is done, and then you just kind of find a spot where there's no anti-air that can hit, or the detection's not hitting, and you pick away drones. Now, the spores actually are not yet done, so this queen, while it won't go down, will eat up all the energy of the queen that's supporting it, which does, mean less transfuses, less creep spread, things like that. But this is actually really interesting. Rogue now, he's going to take his lair at his 3rd. And you might say, hey, Bea, why is he doing that? Well, there's one reason and one reason alone. outside of maybe denying a scout, which you will not be successful in doing. But your third or your lair, and actually your hive gets even more. A hatchery is 1,000 HP. A lair is 1,250, and a hive is 1,500. I believe those are the numbers. But you do get more HP on a lair on a hive, which means that if you're worried about this full frontal push from a Terran into your third base, getting your lair there might make a little bit of sense, because it means, you know, you have 25% more HP on your production structure. Look at this, though, Rogue. He's gotten a couple extra spores. He's gotten for 2 instead of 1. And Maru is still finding damage. That is a really nice pickoff here for the Terran player. Look at this Rogue. His response is going to be Aspire here, because remember, when you go Hellion Banshee in this meta, the bioproduction is slowed down. The upgrades are slowed down, which means you can actually get mutas out at a pretty decent timing and start to really pin the Terran player back. And on a map like Glittering Ashes, pinning the Terran player back is really, really nice, because you're just going to expand. You're going to take the map. You're going to get your creep spread in a position where, I mean, it's going to be 4 screens that a Terran has to push through creep to make sure anything happens, which, good luck. Right? It's not going to work out all that well. So, Spire just about done. Bailing speed on the way as well, just the defensive utility for Rogue. He's ideally going to be spending as little gas as possible until the first flood of mutas pop out, so he can get up to 9 or 10 mutas there. But of course, Maru wants to make something happen with this. Double medevac drop. I mean, at this point, the timing is not there where he's going to be able to kill anything. He's going to get an Overlord, but he should not do game-ending, game-crippling damage, even as these Marines are going to have combat shields in a second. But what it does do is maybe it forces some extra lings, forces some banelings, although, yeah, Rogue says, no. I have enough Zerglings out here already. My mutas are popping. Maru, you got to run away right now, because if you keep this army on the map, I will swallow it whole. Maru, unknown to him at the moment, he's going to keep clearing away creep as well as he can. Zerglings are going to get this around. Mutas not quite out yet. And oh, look, that is 14 mutas on the way. Normally you see 8 kind of into a swell of other gas units and upgrades back into the mutas. But Rogue has kind of realized that Maru is not, I mean, this is Glittering Ashes. You do not push a Zerg all that easily on this map. So, again, Rogue spending every single bit of his gas into these mutas, into muta upgrades, even getting +1 air before 1-1 on the ground is done. Now, this 5th base, it's on significant problems, but the Zergling counterattack is going to find its way in. Bulldogging in with the mutas as well here. The Widowmine shot, though, is going to do an amazing job. But at this point, Maru's army is kind of trapped in his medevacs. It can't do all that much, and the Widowmine's on the high ground. They're going to do what they can, but Rogue is more than good at the splits here. Although the second Widowmine is going to, well, do a little bit of splash damage here, but with the lack of a missile turret, Rogue, he's forced the entire army of Maru back. He's doing not tremendous eco damage yet, but he's forced to pull here. He's going to dive into the main and get some of this army because he has enough mutas for it. Again, he got 14. He's got 5 more on the way. Diving into the third, doing that diamond of harassment where you just kind of bounce the Terran around your bases. Left, right, center, and they can never really get back to it because mutas will sit in the dead airspace to heal right on up. And Rogue is in such a good position in this game. Yeah, he lost his 5th. I don't know whether it was a kill or a cancel, but he lost his 5th. Which does slow his economy down just a bit. But he's already on 70, almost 80 workers now. He's going to put the final touches on going up to 84, which is kind of the way Zerg goes, right? You get up to 66, you hold a push. You go up to 72, you hold a push. Then you go up to 84 or whatever. And then, you know, maybe if you're going to play a super high eco style, then you go up to 96. That is not something that we see in the meta as much anymore, but there was a time when you just saw, you know, 92 drones, Massling Bane. Rogue, though, I think he's going to stop at roughly 90. As he's just getting bases everywhere on the map, expanding out the wazoo. And Maru just can't leave his base. He's building more bases here, drilling claws on the way, 2-2 on the way. And, I mean, the big news, if you want to talk about upgrades, 2-2 has not yet been started for Rogue. Yes, he has his 1-1, but he's kind of forgotten about it, at least for the time being, as I guess he gets ready to move into Hive Tech first and foremost. Zerglings are running on into the natural mutas, finding a little bit of a position in the third, maybe, but no, okay, they're just going to sit on the edge of things for now. But now the Banelings come rolling in. Rogue saying, yeah, let's just end this right now, Mario. I'm going to remove one of your lives and just make it so you're going to have to kill us all on 1 life remaining. No room for any slip-ups. The Banelings will come crashing in. 14 workers go down, as well as a significant portion of Maru's army as the mutas now indomptable, flooding around. More and more workers go down. More and more as everything and more infrastructure goes down, even as Maru does find a couple of these meters, they will start to trade incredibly poorly. This is 2-2 bio after all, or at least +2 attack. But still, look at the supply, look at the economy. Rogue is mining everywhere. And Maru's not. Maru is struggling to maintain even a 3-base economy. I mean, yeah, he's got his 4th command center. He's going to look to take it, but there for a while now, he was, I believe, below 40 workers. But now we got the army of Rogue rolling on in, and there's an argument to be made that this is just a distracting force, but the target fire with those Widow Mines, so many of the Banelings, they go down in the blink of an eye. The Mutas, though, they're going to get the 4th base, and that is the real prize. Hopefully, we're going to see that in a second here. Yeah, the 4th base going down, Banelings into the 3rd. I mean, both of the real prizes at this point. 15 workers go down. The 4th base, I believe, is dead. Mutas in the natural doing yet more damage. Rogue, he's up 70 supply. And Team NV, they're kind of on, they're not on their last ropes yet. You know, Maru does have another life to give. But you're kind of hoping that Maru goes and 2-0s Rogue here. So he can go and just, you know, make it 2 lives to 3, maybe make a little bit more of a run and make something happen. But even if he kills Maru, or even if he kills Rogue in game number 2 of this series, Maru will have lost his life. And it will be, you know, 1 life remaining. But who knows? Maru has made big comebacks before. I'm not going to say bigger comebacks before because this is a hard one. But he certainly has made comebacks before. So we're going to have to see whether he can make a miracle happen here as once again Rogue crashing on into the 3rd base this time. Zerglings surrounding everything. The good news, of course, Maru has upgrades, but you got to have an army to have upgrades work, and that does not matter. GG Rogue rolls on in, rolls through to a game number 1 in Team NV now. They're on their last life. And now it's game number 2, and the question that prevails... Well, I'm interesting that they didn't update the graphic. I expected one of those lives to go down for Maru. But the question prevails. Can Maru take a life off Rogue here? Because if he does that, while it's really not a good situation for him to be in right now, it is doable, right? Because then, while, you know, Team NV has 1 life that remains, Dragon Phoenix Gaming will be down to 3. If Maru can then, like, 2-0, the, say, Dark, who comes in, and then he'd have to 2-0, he'd have to kill Zest as well before we even talk about revives. It's not an easy road. But, you know, trading a life for a life at least makes it somewhat possible, maybe. I don't know. Maru is made for this type of stuff, though. The amount of just insane late-game comebacks, or just comebacks in general that we've seen from him, he's not the type of player that goes and falls down on the occasion. But really what we're going to look at this point is, do the players do anything different, both in this best of 2? Right? Does Maru do the same thing over and over again? Does Rogue do the same thing over and over again? But, say, assuming that Maru is able to kill Rogue here, and then he has to go play Dark. Does Maru go and do the same builds he did against Rogue? Does he do something different? How do things get changed up? Or, you know, if Rogue 2-0s this, and then Maru and Rogue end up playing another series, which is possible. I mean, Maru is the revive. We all know this. Do they do the same things again? How much in Maru's mind right now is what he's doing in this series, and how much of this is planning for his eventual revive and maybe showing some things that might surprise his opponent? Well, we got our answer right now. We got double barracks, triple barracks stim timing coming in from Maru in this game. And I think this is very much a counter meta build, counter kind of expectation build, because Maru does not do this against Zerg all that often. But B, this is setting up the next series. Even if Maru loses this and he has to play Rogue again, he's going to put the fear of weird stim timings in Rogue's head. Maybe just a little bit. And I love what he's doing here, too. He's going to try to catch this Overlord. But, of course, the Overlord is sitting far back from this main. Will not get scouted out for now. We're going to have to see whether these Marines find anything else. It looks unlikely. But, yeah, they got to run back. 330 is nigh on the horizon. And Zergling speed will just... Well, 4 Zerglings won't beat 4 Marines. But, say 8 Lings with Zergling speed will absolutely beat those 4 Marines just there. So they're going to have to run back. Maybe, hopefully, catch off the Overlord. But that's not going to be what's happening here. Overlord just... really, the Overlord of Rogue is not to go into the main base for that 4-minute timing that we do see. That was kind of like the default Zerg scout timing for a while. Or I guess the 4:15 timing. But it's just sitting here so it knows when the move-out happens. Rogue wants to know when and if Maru moves out because, well, then he can prepare. Get another round of Zerglings in. Start morphing Banelings. Things like that. And by the way, folks, Stim is going to be done right around 4:30. So Maru is getting pretty quickly ready. Oh, he's getting combat shields as well. I don't know, that shouldn't surprise me, but it is going to be interesting. It will mean that these Marines are going to have a lot more HP to their name, as now the Marines, they're going to run across the map for real this time. And Rogue, he's got the scout. So he's going to know exactly what's happening here. He's going to see the large amounts of Marines running across the map. And what's he going to do? He says, okay, well, you know what? You've committed pretty heavily to this. I'm going to counterattack. And Maru, he's got his EB down in the nick of time there. Cutting that one off. And now it's all down to the front on push. Maru says, okay, well, you got nothing on the left side. You got nothing really on the right side here. I don't know that he knows he's been scouted. I mean, you kind of assume that the Zerg player is going to have some sort of high ground vision. But you don't know. It's not guaranteed. And actually, Maru, I think he's playing like he's been scouted here. He kind of almost playing like... So this build is actually really popular. Or not really popular, but at least somewhat popular in TVP. And there are 2 ways you play. You will have the Zerg player or the Terran player, they'll go in and against like a Blink opener, for example. They're just going to run in there and stim it down and try to kill as many workers as possible. Find an advantage. Against Stargate, more often than not, or heavier, like say a charged opening, which really doesn't happen all that much, but against openers that are going to be in a better position to defend, what they do instead is say, okay, well, you know, I'm not in the best economic spot, but I have a big army. And if I just keep macroing up here, keep massing my units, I'll force defensive stuff out of you. And then I'm going to hit you with a later timing when I have my 3rd base, when I have my better upgrades, as the case may be. So now we got the double medevac drop coming out from Maru here. Right, honestly, not too far off the timing of a 3-base 2-1-1 of like the TY build. Not quite. And again, Maru only has 2 bases behind this, so it's not really comparable. But at least, you know, he can maybe find something. He can maybe remove some creep. There are far too many Zerglings on the map for him to get too much done, though. And he will lose a couple of Marines for his troubles. Okay, so that's going to get cleaned on up. And actually, there's something I really like seeing Rogue do in this game. Notice he has Burrow getting started pretty quickly. Burrow is not a new thing. We've started to see Zerg players experiment it more and more over the last 1.5 to 2 years and get it earlier and earlier in their upgrade cycle. But getting Burrow before your 1-1 is done is not all that common. But considering the fact that Maru has not taken his 3rd base yet, it's not on location, getting that Burrow, a really nice way to prevent the 3rd base of the Terran going down for quite a while. And also, I mean, we all know about Birdbanes. Birdbanes are a possibility here now, as we have Rogue setting up for a big surround to try to sweep Maru from the face of the earth. The Queens, for now, they're doing a great job of just being those HP buffers. Now, Baneling speed is not yet done, but Zergling's getting on the backside, getting on top of these tanks, holding the Marines in position to force Maru to lift up to go home. He says, no, I don't want those Banelings hitting me, please. But the push is gone. And yeah, the supplies are somewhat equal. But Rogue has an upgrade lead. His Baneling speed is just about done. His creep spread is in an incredible spot. He's got his 4th base on the way. And really, he's just trying to wait. for that time where Maru's push is just held off a little bit more. And we're going to see drones on that production tab. Now, Maru will find this fourth base, and he will force the rotation, which does mean that the army on the right can maybe do something. But of course, you know, the Terran can only be at any at one spot at any given time, and the Zergling run by is giving Maru plenty to think about here, as the Zergling is now going to run on in and get some additional tanks. Rogue saying, yeah, no, 2 Marines. I'm not spending my Banelings on 2 Marines. It's not even worthwhile here. The third base has been broken. Natural's starting to get chewed on, but you're not going to break that one. Not really. The fourth base of Rogue's going to stay alive. Transfuses are going to be more than good enough. And again, it's Rogue just winning everywhere. Third base even forced to lift. We're probably going to see Rogue go and burrow a ling beneath that. Just force a scan at the very least. That's 250 minerals right there. And there we go. At this point, I mean, Maru's got the supply lead, but this army from Rogue is just so supply efficient on a creep. 9 workers go down. And that is the one thing we can look at. Rogue has not really had the time to drone up all that hard. And spending some time now with all this pressure that Maru's putting on to buy drones, it's not the easiest thing to do. But it does feel like now he has bought himself that time. Maru not even willing to spend a scan on this. His economy is that bad that he says, look, I'm just going to mine inefficiently for a bit, because I need these mules. And also, Rogue's creep spread is dominant. Actually, maybe that was the fact that his third CC was the only thing that had energy for the scan. So he wasn't going to be able to scan it out until he actually, you know, dropped the third CC. Zerglings are going to get on top of these SCVs, and the friendly fire is going to do just as much damage as the actual Zerglings will. And the fourth base of Rogue does go down. So Maru really making the best of a bad hand here. Actually, his fifth base looks like it got killed as well, not even canceled. So, I mean, Rogue's back down on 3 bases. Maru has 3 bases now, too. He does have 1-1, even as Rogue is up on upgrades. Maru is doing an excellent job of keeping himself in this game, of keeping Rogue's economy low, of keeping his trades good. But on the flip side, look at this creep through the center of the map here. Maru's playing edge of the map StarCraft, right? He's going for the Erasmus, he's going for everything else. But it means he's not doing anything through the center of the map, and Rogue is expanding through that. It means his run-bys are just so good here. As we have this drop finding its way on into the natural. Queen's doing a good job. But, I mean, these Liberators are causing thorns, are generating thorns in Rogue's side in the extreme. These Queens, they're going to lose a lot of them to knock that Liberator down. For the last one will fall, and the other one's going to fall down as well. The push gets moved off once again. Maru, again, losing economy. And again, Rogue holds on. It's interesting. I'm looking at the way this game is going from a tempo perspective, and it really feels like Rogue's in a good spot. And then you look at the supply, and you're like, well, you know, Rogue's only 65 workers. Maru's up on army supply. It's not the end of the world. But make no mistake about it. This is not a good situation for Maru here, even as the supplies kind of tell a slightly different story. As Zerglings are going to run on in, though, there are 2 tanks here, and the Banelings are just not there. Rogue just really trusting in his upgrades, and it looks like that was kind of the proper call. This push is going to be forced back once again. Banelings run into the natural of Maru. One more Bane, and all those SCVs do go down, but Maru is going to be able to stay mostly alive. And he's got a 4th base underway. He is slowly but surely building a rather impressive economy, which is not the way I thought this game was going to go when we saw just Rogue take the map off of that field pressure from Maru. And Rogue's map vision is so good, too. Oh, what a surround here coming in on it from Rogue from every side. The Liberators, they're going to do what they can, but Liberators against Hydras are really not the best move. Hydras are going to shred them so quickly, and I mean, you lose 2 Hydras, but you heal 3 Liberators. You're going to take that trade. Now Zerglings, they're going to get underneath the army here. They're going to make it almost impossible for Maru to unload. Notice he's unloading on the right side, trying to do what he can, but at this point, his army has been caught. It's 2-2 versus 1-1. Hydras, they come flooding on in. They're not fast yet, but they shoot far. And this is going to be a truly broken 3rd base. Now the 4th base coming under fire. Hydras are just going to kill that. No real saving that for Maru right now. 3rd base not mining at all whatsoever. Zerglings, they come crashing on in, and Rogue looks like he finally has what it takes here. The supply of Maru plummeting. The tanks are going down. Nothing really left to contest these Hydras. Nothing left to contest the Zerglings. And at this point, Maru, he's died twice, but only one of them counts. But what it does mean is that Rogue is staying alive. He's not going to give his life over in the exchange. We're going to have another series, most likely, of Rogue versus Maru. But as I say that, Maru, he is going to be able to track down some of these Hydras. Those are the units that you really don't want to lose. They're so much expensive than, say, you know, a couple Lings, couple Banes. And they're all about getting that efficiency over time. Anyway, Maru looking for a last-ditch push here. He's only on 44 workers. Realistically, that's fine. He's only mining off the third base. He does not have mining in the main or the natural really all that much, but it's all going to be down to these tanks and these Liberators really looking to control the space as Rogue comes in from every side once again, but it's a little disjointed, actually. And the Banelings are going to struggle to connect, but it looks like Maru paying attention to the run by at home. He's going to lose all his tanks. He's going to lose all his Marines. And again, Rogue sweeps Maru from the map. Rogue gets economy damage done at the same time. And now Rogue, well, he's only on 63 workers. He does have 5 bases. And what a scrappy game this is. Rogue cannot get himself up onto tier 3 tech. Really, neither can Maru. As Zerglings are going to run in once. Rogue is just so good at this. Every moment that Maru moves out, he finds it. He gets the Zerglings on top of it. And he just... It's only 3 STVs there. But, I mean, at this point, again, there are 2 minnow patches in the natural. There's gas, sure, but Maru doesn't even care about gas all that much. Banelings are going to keep crashing into the tank. Not really the most efficient thing. And these Hydras are going to be able to deal with it. There we go. GG. Maru running out of money, running out of time. And now this means that Rogue, he is still alive. Maru's got to 2-0 him now. And 2-0 Dark and 2-0 Zest to have a shot. And now we wind our way into the second series of Maru versus Rogue. We had 1, yes, but why not 2? As, of course, we have WTL with the really flashy player intros happening. But as we look at this game, we look at this series, Maru has 1 life to give. He loses a single map from here on out. Team NV is done, Team NV is dusted, and Dragon Phoenix Gaming will be your champion, or your champions, of WTL Winter. But Maru has done insane. He's done crazy things before. And him taking... What's he need? 8 straight maps? Well, not impossible, but certainly not for one of Maru's character, but still very difficult indeed. Because remember, Maru was 2-0'd by Rogue just recently in this very tournament. Although, in fairness, in Game 2, that was a game that he did almost win, and he went for a 3-Rex build that got nothing done. So, it's not like he's looking bad necessarily. And actually, we also got to remember the fact that Game 2 of the first Maru Rogue series, was on this map. It was on Berlingrad. Of course, Maru was on the bottom side instead of the top, but this was the map he went for the 3-Rex build. And he very nearly did break Rogue. He didn't, but he got very, very close. So now in a game that's going to be a little bit more even, I think. Certainly, you know, I don't think we're going to see Maru going for 3-Rex play. We're going to have to see what he's got in store for us. Can he do what he promised to do against Rogue on that last map? I mean, this is not Glittering Ashes anymore. We're not going to see the map that... Oh, he's going to get the third base, or at least delay it for a time. Nice job there, Maru. Good timing. But he's going to go, and he's not going to have to play, at least in this on this map, on the map that is kind of universally known as the worst map for Terran in the pool. Glittering Ashes just gives Zerg so much room to do exactly what Rogue did. Build yourself up, expand. Oh, he's going to force this. Oh, yeah. He's going to force a second morph here. The third base for Rogue is so late now. Normally, what? You'd have the third base halfway done by now. But instead, no, it's a double extractor trick at this point. Just trying to keep the drone alive as much as he can. And yeah, the queen's going to wind its way on over. But Maru, he's going to be able to force a third one here. I think the drone's going to try to take it, but he's not going to be able to. The drone barely stays alive. Okay. Wait, Maru's going to chase it down, though. Is he going to get it? No. No, too much damage from the Queen. Not enough regen. And anyways, Rogue will take the third base in the less optimal position. But behind this, Maru, he's not opting for 3 barracks into factory into starport into just unceasing pressure. We got a third base underway. Maru with a tangible advantage really in the early game for the first time in this series. I mean, yeah, he dove Hellions into the natural in game 1 of the last best of 2, and yeah, he got 4 drones, but 4 drones for 4 Hellions and a couple more with the Banshees, not really the type of damage that puts Maru ahead. In this game, though, the third base finishing after 4 minutes, that is a significant delay for the Dragon Phoenix Zerg. So now with Hellions on the field, what do we see from Rogue here? Well, first and foremost, his creep is going to be delayed because his third base was delayed, which means there's just less kind of surface area to start pushing the creep forward. So Hellions, they're going to do their very best to just minimize that as much as they can, not allow Rogue to grow out onto the map in the same way, at the same rate that we saw him do on Glittering Ashes. Of course, because those 4 Hellions went down, it really did mean that Maru did not have the map control that he would have otherwise had. As the Hellions they dive in, there's actually not enough Queens here, so one Hellion, one Queen will go down just about immediately. The second one gonna get very low as well. And every little bit, I mean, this does not end the game for Rogue here. Don't let me say it does. But what it does do, again, it gives more pressure for Maru. It makes it harder for Rogue to get to that point in the game where he's dominating the map, where he owns 50% of the map, where he makes it just so hard for the Zerg player or for the Terran player to step onto anything. And yeah, Maru is doing such a good job with the creep spread as well. But Rogue, he's going to take a page out of his teammates' book. And he's going to go roaches in this, well, I guess in this third game of what might end up being a, well, we'll end up being a best of 4, I guess. 1-1 on the way, more and more roaches on the way. I don't believe Maru has scouted this. So the first time he sees these roaches will be a bit of a surprise. But again, he's doing such a good job of keeping Rogue back. Pinned down on his own 3 bases. It means that he is theoretically going to have the greatest possible amount of time to react to this. And there we go. The roaches will get scattered out. You don't build roaches at this timing. You don't have roaches on the map, really. New ones on the map at this timing, unless you're going for a 1-1 roach push. So Maru is well aware of what's happening here. We're going to just have to see how he responds. I mean, nothing's too crazy right now. He's got tanks coming out 1 by 1, single factory, 1-1 on the way. We might start to see a couple more Marauders hit the field. But for right now, that answer is no. Maru just saying, well, okay, now that I know about it, I'm just not really going to move out with my army all that much. And instead just come to terms with the fact that I just can't get much done. Maybe a drop here or there, but any sort of move out with my army into the Roach Max of Rogue just says, well, that's a good recipe to die. Maru doesn't want to die. He has but 1 life to live, or to give for his team at this point. Is we got this drop here trying to knock down the 4th base of Rogue, and well, they're just going to be 2 minutes. Well, actually, no, they're not going to be enough roaches here. Not at all. Maru reading the situation better than anyone else and stimming on in, knocking down a lot of these roaches. Taking a pretty positive trade for himself. 8 Marines for 8 roaches. Yeah, you'll take that one. Absolutely. We got the push coming on in from Rogue here as he looks to put the kibosh on Team Envy's hopes, dreams in this WTL Grand Finals. Now the roaches, they're going to come piling on in, but the tanks, they're sieging away from afar. This is not working out whatsoever for Rogue. Yeah, the SCVs, they got to get pulled, but only 3 of them have died thus far, just messing with the AI. Maru finds the army on the bottom side and microing gently away from the Biles. He is going to be able to stay alive. A 4th tank hits the field, moving on forward to keep shelling away at these roaches. And this timing from Rogue with 1-1, with lots and lots of those roachy boys, will not be successful. And where does he go from here? No 2-2 on the way, no Hydra Den, no Lurker idea. No, it's a Baneling Nest. Rogue's gonna hit with another big swell of units in maybe a minute or two and just hope and pray that he's going to be able to break Maru down in that one. But when you go for a push like this and you really don't get much done, well, okay, there's the Hydra Den. Never mind. Baneling Nest will get canceled. I like that a lot more. Going into Roach Tech is a lot more useful as the tanks that actually, Rogue's going to catch the tanks unsieged here from Maru, and that means he's going to get on top of so many of them. The Marines, they're doing what they can, but I mean, they're only 1-1 Marines. So many of these tanks are going down, but at the end of the day, it looks like despite that, it's still going to be a pretty even trade. The tanks got sieged up at the end. The bio of Maru kept Rogue back, and yeah, he got the tanks. But getting the tanks is not quite enough. Although it does, of course, open up different opportunities for Rogue to make the push happen later, to hit with the 3rd or 4th Haymaker. And just hope that he's softened Maru up barely enough. There we go. Hive is on the way behind this. +2 armor is on the way. We are going to start to see Lurkers hitting the field, Vipers hitting the field. And this is where things get really scary. Because, man, nothing in the Zerg arsenal scales with upgrades quite as efficiently as Lurkers do. A, I mean, they're tanky, so adding more armor makes them even tankier, but B, splash units in a line like this, with the bonus damage, with the significant damage they already do, well, getting them additional damage really does scale with an outsized effect compared to like what a Zergling gets or what a Hydra gets out of things. As Maru, though, he's feeling incredibly competent and confident in this game number 1 of our second best of 2. With 1 life to give, he says, well, no. Or 1 life, not even 1 life to give, excuse me, on his last life here, he says, no, I'm going to take your life, Rogue. I'm going to get my 4th base. My economy is fine. You can't really threaten me anymore. As he stims on in, target firing down, +2 range. He's going to get the armor upgrades as well. Yeah, Rogue cancels that even before stuff happens because he understands it will not stay alive. And that means we were talking about these 2-2 Hydras, these 2-2 Lurkers. The whole point of this build that Rogue has gone for, where you just get really upgraded Lurkers much quicker than normal, well, that's not a thing anymore. And now we got Maru pushing in, and again, the creep spread for Rogue is better than it was a couple minutes ago, but it's still not super inspiring. As Maru stimming on in says, yeah, your biles, I don't really care about them. The 1 fungal is going to land, but it only gets a little bit of his army, an inconsequential piece. And now Maru with the steamroll going in. He's got his tanks sieged up in a good spot here. Lurkers are going to look to do what they can. The Ling run by wants to bring Maru home, but Maru says, no, this place is my home now. As now he pops the stim once again, looking to get on top of those Lurkers, but will not be quite successful. The tanks, though, are dominating this fight. Rogue cannot approach. Now down 30 supply, waiting for the Vipers to hit the field, waiting for the Vipers to have the energy that they need, but they don't have it yet. And Maru, he's already in position here. He's got it segmented off. The natural from the 3rd. The fungal blinding cloud, though, is going to do a great job. It's going to force Maru back, and Rogue, it looks like he's going to live at least briefly to fight another day. But of course, that's just half the game. That's just half the battle here, because Rogue, he's got an army in his 5th base. He's going to lose that one. Actually, it looks like better questions whether he will lose the 4th. And Maru's kind of doing a TVT thing. It looks like he wants to siege out the main. Okay, no. Main will not get sieged up, but the 5th base of Rogue does go down. Only 2 Lurkers remain, but does Maru have the scans for this? I don't think so. All right, so Nidus on the way, Baneling Nest on the way here to deal with the eventual Ghost transition. Although it's kind of interesting. I've been talking to a bunch of different pro players recently about kind of the utility of this mass Baneling late game Ghost or late game transition to deal with Ghosts. And the consensus seems to be that while, you know, Ghosts are good and you can certainly overwhelm kind of a too early Ghost transition, getting the Bane, getting like just the mass Baneling counter to Ghosts, it's good to counter snipes, but it's gonna be one of those things where you got to have an eco lead to make it work, like a significant eco lead, because if you morph 50 Banes to kill like 1 army of the Terran, that really is not worthwhile. Is looks like the Nidus network was killed. Okay. All right, so now we're going to see a couple more lurkers look to burrow on forward here. Looks like Maru again. Yeah, he's a little bit slow with these scans, but he's going to be able to knock down at least one lurker anyways. Second one's going to go down. Only one looks like it remains in this fight. Now, no tanks, which is a problem. In fact, we're running out of scans here, so the lurkers on the low ground doing a damn fine job as finally the missile turret will enable the removal of that lurker on Maru's fourth, and he's hitting that point where he's doing the thing Terrans love to do, dropping down 4 extra command centers, just taking the map. And Rogue has not been able to do the same thing normally, traditionally. These lurkers allow so much map control. They allow you to really just start to expand everywhere because your lurkers kind of make the defense happen. And then that means you can send Zerglings across the map. It means you can have all sorts of fun. But Maru, he does not believe in fun in this game. He says, no, fun is the thing that Terrans get to do when they're ahead. Interesting here. So I think we're going to see the promise of Nidus that we don't often see. Where instead of Nidus being this, oh, I'm going to drop into the main base and I'm going to all in you, it really is going to be used as a maneuverability tool. We're going to see the lurkers go on in. We got a tank. I thought we had a tank, but I guess it has gone down here. But the Planetary actually doing a really good job of knocking these lurkers down. Ghost rally on in as well. The lurkers dying extremely quickly here. Lurkers are not going to be able to find their way into the third base as well. Maru takes down the fifth. Everything's happening all at once. And Maru takes the positive trade at every single one. And the big story here, Maru may not be maxed out as the fungal will land, but the ghosts are going to pop down some more. Oh, nice EMP there as well. All right, so Ghost is going to snipe in on this fourth base. A bunch of Ghosts actually going to go down from the hidden lurkers, but again, now this is what we're looking at. Maru is going to stim on into what is realistically the last mining base of Rogue here. Rogue says, no, but the EMPs, they're good. It's like one blinding cloud, not even a fungal, not enough here. GG Maru. Check down 1 of 8. He's got 7 more maps to go. He's got to win every single one, but at least here, at least he's got the one. So now we find our way into game number 2 here. It is Maru, it is Rogue. Rogue the zombie is looking to eat the brains of his opponents, looking to remove them, surgically maybe, and knock out Envy from their last life. Because yes, Rogue, he's not playing again today unless he has to go play that ace match. But he can make sure that that ace match does not need to happen at all. So we're going to have to see whether that is something that Rogue is going to be able to do, or whether Maru will keep our hopes and our dreams alive and force Dragon Phoenix Gaming to show us a second player in their storied and most capable roster. But of course, here's the problem. We've seen this map before. Glittering Ashes is going to be Rogue's map pick, and he's going to say, yeah, you know, Berlingrad was tough for me in my first series. Berlingrad, I lost in my second series, but Glittering Ashes was not hard at all. Because Rogue just dominated, absolutely dominated that map. He took his 4 bases, he took his 5 bases. He just started rolling Lings and Banes into Maru's base, and there was nothing, and I mean nothing, that Maru could do about it. Of course, the snowball didn't quite start there. It went with the fact that this was a Hellion Banshee opener for Maru in that game. And Rogue was able to get his mutas out before the Marines were out. He was able to start ping-ponging around, force Maru to stay in his own base. And then say, okay, well, you know what? If you cannot be active on the map, you can do no damage to me. I'm going to find my way up to 92 drones. And then the slow roll, or quick roll, depending on where the creep was more than enough to knock down Maru's economy, knock down his army, and knock down his hopes and dreams of not spending his life. I wonder whether we're going to see mech here, though. I don't think so. Maru has been kind of visibly favoring mech in this matchup. But Glittering Ashes is not the map for it. Maybe if we were on Hardwire, yeah, 100%. But again, Glittering Ashes, the Zerg can just out-expand the meching Terrans so well that it really does not appear to be worthwhile. And yeah, I like this a lot more from Maru here. No Hellion Banshee play, nothing that really enables this Muta play on a map that is so big, that has so much airspace that the Mutas can just kind of bounce around in and dominate. No. It's 3cc play. And while this is the reason that we used to see 2-base Muta when just 3cc play was in the meta, was the thing that Terrans did, by the time that Rogue scouts this, it's going to be hard for him to kind of reactively do the same thing. Okay, so on the map now, we're going to see the similar opener, actually, that we saw Maru do in that last game, where, you know, it's not Hellion Banshee, which, again, has kind of become the gold standard as of late. But no, it's going to be Hellion with a Viking, but here's where things get fun, because one of the other things that you can get away with on Glittering Ashes, as much as we've been talking about how good this is for Zerg, how much you can dominate the map as the Zerg player, well, it also means that it takes forever for roaches to run across the map. Which means that you can get away with things like Battlecruiser play a whole lot easier. It's much, much more simple to do any type of Banshee play if you're, or excuse me, Battlecruiser play if you're playing this game where you're really not afraid of the Roach March across the map to break you in, and the Viking there, yeah, it's going to deny all scouting. Rogue has no idea. I mean, he's going to know the third base is happening. He knows there are Hellions on the map, but the fact that this is Battlecruiser play, zero idea. In fact, that early Baneling nest kind of makes you think he's worried about maybe a Hellbat timing or a 2-on-1, something like that. Lair is going to be on the way, and we will see the spores at the proper timing. So at the very least, he's going to have the Queen spore count. And oh, here we go. I said I didn't think we were going to see mech, because it's Glittering Ashes, and it, you know, again, Glittering Ashes not the best mech map, but we're going to see it anyways, and Rogue's going to scout this very quickly. He sees that second factory going down, and at this time in the game, second factory, well, it means one thing and one thing only. And it doesn't mean that Maru's playing with gumdrops. So really the question now is, how does Rogue choose to react to this? Okay, so Spire's going down. We got double Evo. We're probably going to see both attack upgrades here. But Rogue has almost kind of misread this. You don't need Banelings right now. Really not at all. So that's an extra 100 gas that he did not have to spend, as of course Battlecruisers, they have teleported into the natural. Observer, please show us. Yeah, 4 or 5 workers will go down. 6. This is so much damage from the Battlecruiser already because Rogue just not pulling his workers away. Now, of course, the Battlecruiser cannot bounce between 2 bases from the position that it warped into, but it already got 7 workers. And even more importantly, it's removing creep. It's removing this vision that Rogue needs to dominate the map to make sure that he can get into his 4th base and his 5th base and get up significant worker counts and just start to prevent the Terran from doing what they need to do. Not all that successful in that, though, as we got 1-1 ground upgrades coming on in from Maru. Both attack upgrades from Rogue here. And it looks like he's going to take the kind of the Corruptor Roach approach. Corruptor Roach Ravagerling Bane, where you build like 13 Corruptors that will just remove. Make the... Oh, okay, never mind. Mutas are going to be the name of the game. I really don't know how I feel about Mutas in this matchup. Or in this stylistic matchup when we're looking at mech versus Zerg. Because while, Mutas can do a pretty good job of, say, getting on top of tanks, on bouncing between mineral lines, they can invalidate Hellion pressure. We're going to see Maru, I think, go for the 2-2 mech max out timing. And when you get something like that, is oh, great scout from Maru here. Now he knows what he's up against. When you see the Terran player doing that, they're going to have like 3 or 4 Thors. With 2-2, the mutas, they really struggle against that. And in general, as the game goes really past 150 supply for the Terran, the mutas really start to lose some of their luster. Oh, this is cool, though. We see Maru kind of realizing that maybe he's not in the best spot. As those banelings get nothing done. Maybe not in the best spot to really do a tech transition yet. He's just got Widow Mines on the way. That's actually going to be really nice here as Rogue will find those openings. I said I didn't like the muta idea, but for now he's finding value. He's gotten down 2 tanks. I don't think he's gotten any workers, but killing 2 tanks is always useful, and he will shut down the harassment at home. So as long as he can keep the Terran down and just maintain this momentum and go up to like 96 drones, this Mutiling Bane style is still somewhat viable. Difficult, and the moment you let off the gas, it really starts to have problems, but for now, it's doable. Oh, look at this, though. Interesting. As mech has started to come back on the menu a lot more, we've seen a couple different approaches to it. We've seen kind of Roach Ravager Corruptor, which was for a while the default response to battlecruiser play, or a mech battlecruiser. We've seen Roach Ravager Swarm Host, which was also for a while the meta. And it looks like that appears to be kind of the more common response here. Is these battlecruisers, they're going to Yamato a couple things, they're going to teleport out, and these mutas, they really don't do the damage that they need to do, even with +1. I mean, these battlecruisers have so much HP, they have so much armor that it's really not going to do all that much. But Thors are starting to hit the field now, and Thors are very much a mixed bag. Very much a mixed bag against muta play. Because on the one hand, you know, if the Locusts hit the ground, the Thors do not trade well at all. But if you get them in the air, I mean, the splash damage is nice indeed. The Locusts are now going to look to hit the field here. 1 tank goes down in the blink of an eye. But there are enough Blue Flame Hellions that honestly, 1 tank for that, it's starting to find value. But not all that great. If we look at the supply here, Maru is rapidly approaching that max out. He's rapidly getting to where he wants to be. He's got 4 bases. He's on 8 gas. His 2-2 is going to time out with his max out almost perfectly. And that, I think, is when we're going to start to see Maru hit the field. That being said, this creep spread from Rogue is just downright inspiring here. As, of course, the Cyclones, 1 lock-ons, 1 dead muta. This creep spread makes it so hard for Maru to push in anywhere. He's got like 5... He'll have like 5 screens of creep to push through. And that is not an easy thing. Thor. Actually, you know, I wonder. So you want the Thor with the army, but I wonder if putting that kind of blocker there, it's like, okay, well, I can keep a Thor just kind of trapped at home. Part of my hotkeys when I want to go push down on the map, but for now, you know, it just allows me to have a little bit of extra anti-air defense in the main. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was just kind of a, you know, positioning mistake, but still kind of cool as the Thors are starting to get really big shots here. It only takes 3 shots to kill a muta. So we're going to start to see a lot of those mutas go down. Maru, he's just about maxed out. His +2 is just about done for the armor. Attack's already done here. Locusts, they're going to be able to delay that command center and maybe kill it, actually. Don't see how much HP is on that, but that looks like it's going to be just about that. This Nidus in the main, well, battlecruisers, they can deal with that one fairly simply indeed. The Zerglings, they're finding value. 13 workers will go down. And Rogue, he's doing what he needs to do to keep the Terran off of his side of the map. But despite this being pretty heavy Swarm Host play, the trades are not. They're not in the Zerg's favor. So again, we see an engagement coming on in. The Banelings are going to look to wipe out all of the Hellbats before the Locusts really engage. But most of the Locusts, they're going down anyways. 1 Thor dies, the base dies. But the trades are not good for Rogue there. He loses so much gas in that engage. That was like 60 Banes rolling on it. This buys so much time now for Maru to hit the field, to start pushing this creep back. to start engaging onto the Zerg side of the map with his 2-2, with what is effectively a maxed out army that I am not totally convinced is one that Rogue can deal with right now. He's going to have to win multiple fights to make this happen. The first one's going to happen right here, right now. Banelings come rolling on in, but all the Thors survive. All the Hellbats, they survive. And we're going to have to see a better one happen from Rogue in a second. His bank rapidly getting depleted here. He had 3,000 minerals a second ago. Now he does not. Corruptors, they're going to look to hit the field as well. But, well, they're not going to get too much done. I mean, it's 3 battle cruisers. 3 battle cruisers are useful, but they are not the bulk. They are not the most important part of Maru's army anymore. On the flip side, though, 3-3 Crackling's doing a great job of preventing mining at that prospective 5th base of Maru. And he will go down just a little bit in economy. All right, Baneling's going to come crashing once again, but Thors are going to split as well as they can, but Banelings against Thors are just not inspiring. There was a time where we saw Raynor kind of playing this style, and the Thors would they would die, but that was 2 Baneling nerfs ago. But anyways, Zerglings are going to find their way on in with the Logust as well and the Corruptors. A bunch of these Thors will go down. Zerglings actually do fight the Thors fairly well indeed. So from that perspective, Maru does lose a significant portion of his army, but what has he gained in the comparison? Rogue, no bank anymore. Rogue, down 2 bases. Rogue, below 80 workers for the first time in a while. Rogue, equal in income for the first time in a while. Together, this means that Maru, again, he's in a great spot here to equalize things. Or at least to make sure that he doesn't die. That's really the big deal. Mutas and Corruptors will find the battle cruisers. It looks like they do all have teleports, so they will be able to get out, yeet themselves away onto the other side of the field. And well, they can keep doing that as long as they want. Repairs are good. These are +3 armor battle cruisers now. Which means they have, what, like 5 or 6 armor? It's a lot. Now, Locust trying to hit the field, but I mean, at this point, the Thors, they are shredding them in the skies. Hellbats surrounding it are on the ground doing a great job here. Not a single Thor goes down. Hellions finding their way into the, what is this, the 4th base of Rogue as well. I mean, it's not end of the world damage, but it's something. So Maru has been able to rebuild his bank, but so too has Rogue. So if we look at that perspective, I mean, Maru's just really in a great spot here. Again, he's going to find this, what do we want to call it? The 5th base of Rogue, the downstairs base. Well, no monster in the downstairs on this one. And the mass Thor push, the Thor battlecruiser push with just a couple Hellbats to deal with those Locusts. It's running on in. And at this point, Rogue doesn't have the army to deal with this. The army supplies, they're somewhat equal. Rogue actually has an army supply lead, but you're not, well, actually, those 3 Thors, they look like they may go down here as they haven't segmented off. One Thor is going to go down. Yeah, these Thors actually should die, but actually the Locusts, they're going to run out of timing fairly quickly. Nidus in the main is going to have to try to say something about this, but of course, battle cruisers, they're able to teleport home. They say, no, these Lings, I don't care. Like, you're not going to get enough. The Lings will eventually go down. Battle cruisers doing a great job of zoning things out. And now it's a bunch of Ravager Swarm Hosts. It's just going to have to make the fight happen here. And Ravagers, if they land their bios appropriately, they say they don't care about upgrades. Not really. But, well, they don't have any armor upgrades. These Thors are just absolutely shredding them. And again, Rogue is forced to spend his bank in a manner that he cannot afford here. And, of course, the Thors in the sky knocking down so many of these Locusts before really any damage comes to pass. Even their HP buffer in the front, not a single one is going down. And again, Rogue, he's spending his bank to no avail. Maru, he's not getting pushed off this time. He's not being, well, pushed away, forced back to rethink, to retool. No. We're starting to see the tech of Rogue go down here. We're starting to see the army of Rogue go down here. The core bases of Rogue are dying. Upgrades are getting denied. And Maru, it looks like the magic is here, at least for this series. He says, no, I will not go down without a fight. No, you're not going to take my life from me. No. This series is not over now. This grand final is not over now. The Swarm Hosts are not going to be able to do nearly enough at this point. As Rogue, he's on his last army, and Maru has another in the bank. He has money now. He's mining. And these staggered Swarm Hosts with the, well, with the Thors in the air, or the Thor shots, they're just not getting nearly enough. Now, it looks like at the end of the day, these Thors in the natural are going to get cleaned up, but Rogue is really, really hurting. He's got what, 5 bases remaining, but like only 2 of them are mining. He's not even fighting these battle cruisers well. They're just, well, they're +3 battle cruisers, and actually they're 1-3 too, so they do even more damage. The mutors are dying, the corruptors are dying, the upgrades are just not there. Okay, he probably could have had that 3rd battle cruiser last a lot longer, but he wanted to deal with the Nidus in the main. So what can Rogue do to bring this back? Trying to split Maru apart really is his best bet. So he's going to knock down 2 Thors here and put at least some pressure on another base. Although those Ravagers will die, so really not enough pressure. But forcing Maru to split up is finding value. You know, he got 2 or 3 Thors just there. Thors are not cheap. Even if they do a lot of damage, they are not cheap at all. So Maru's bank has been reset as well. I mean, part of that is building infrastructure, building sensor towers, building upgrades, things like that. But, you know, he doesn't really have another Remax, as he will knock down the last base on the bottom side. But we're also starting to see the wonder and the sadness of Glittering Ashes. It's just so hard for anyone to kill anyone else, which means we get great games like this. Locusts are going to come landing on in, but the Hellbat's doing a great job. Battle cruisers in the skies with nothing to contest them. They're just finding so much value here. And I love this. The Ravens at the end, with these what are soon to be +2, +3 eventually battle cruisers, and you know the 3/3 mech on the ground, knocking down 2 armor from the Zerg is just going to make this impossible to fight. Zerglings, they're going to find a free tank. Actually, a free 3 tanks. That's going to be rather nice. The Thor is going to go down as well. Rogue taking excellent trades everywhere on the map here. He's going to find, well, actually a bunch of dead mules, done mules, but still. Denying mining from that one. He's going to be able to delay this extra command center for a time, but battle cruisers, again, they can teleport home. They do significant damage, and they do enough, actually. But Rogue is just doing such a good job of just jerking Maru around the map, saying, yeah, you've taken better trades. Yeah, you broke my natural. Yeah, you delayed my upgrades. Cool, bud. I don't really care because I have Swarm Host Roach Ravager. I can attack in 2 places at once. But now it feels like Maru's maybe found his timing just a little bit. He says, well, the Locusts are done. They're on cooldown for just a little bit. It's time for me to run across the map. Time for me to knock down another mining base. But Maru understands how precarious this is as that base is killed, not canceled. Maru knows how truly precarious this is. He loses a fight. He's not rebuilding this army. So instead of going and trying to push through the natural once again and allowing Rogue to take multiple fights, he retreats back. He looks to defend the bases that he has because he knows Rogue has to make a counter push now. He knows that Rogue has to counter punch to make things happen. And these Locusts really should not get too much done here. There's just too much supply in the army now for the NV Terran. I feel like we're missing some spellcasters. You know, like Vipers or something, but it's also one of those games where, I mean, the Thors, they turn on high impact payload mode. They shoot from a screen away, and the Vipers just don't really get enough. But it does feel like, you know, at least something that would enable the fights here is the Cyclone will go down. I mean, they cost as much of a tank, so you don't want to really lose them. And certainly, of course, they are much squishier here, but the harass from Rogue is not finding what it needs. Really, truly, that is what it is. Rogue, he's on for really on 1 base of mining, I think. As the Locusts are going to try to find their way into this planetary. The planetary is not yet done, but now it is. And, well, we're lacking building armor. But the splash damage is going to be enough. Again, Maru's going to be able to defend his holdings. This burrow is not going to get anything done here. Rogue looking to catch his opponent out, but instead, he is the one that was caught in the same trap. And instead of unburrowing, knocking down a bunch of Cyclones, well, everything has died. There are not enough Corruptors. Actually, they just do not do enough DPS. You can kind of teleport battle cruisers home 1 at a time. It will get out once again. Okay, the 3rd battle cruiser could have taken that fight, but you know, I understand. Man, normally at this point you see at least one battlecruiser dying, but that really isn't the game that Maru has been playing. This really does put me in the mind. I think it's inarguable that since Gumiho has come back, I mean, it really has reminded Terrans that mech is a thing. But, you know, Gumiho at one point is called the Spoon Terran, because he would just take little spoonfuls out of his opponents until they died. And that really has been the way that Maru has been playing this game. I mean, he has made big pushes, but no, like, real big pushes. Oh, this is big, though. Rogue's going to lose so many of these swarm hosts. The scans getting dropped just to make sure that nothing burrows and runs away. And that is going to be a GG. Maru, he stays alive. Rogue is dead. And who does DPG send out next? Is it a Protoss player trying to mess up Maru's ZVT Zen? Or are we going to seize Dark? Is Dark going to be the one that knocks down Maru? Well, I don't know, but we're going to have to find out in just a second. As DPG, they lose their first life. Maru, he stays alive.